What's up, FHN?
I'm Camden.
And I'm Harper.
And welcome to this week's episode of The Nightly Show. Stick by for an album review, a local story on a roller derby, my take on Dune 2, and many more. We have a great show coming up. Schoolwork has been pretty difficult recently as the quarter is winding down, but lucky for students, spring break is coming up in a week. Keep your head down because it is just around the corner. If you're staying around St. Louis for the spring break, then there's a few things that you can do, including WAG, an art exhibit in the St. Louis Foundry Art Center, made specifically for your dog. With dog-friendly color palettes and canine-adjusted height of the art, it is the place to be for any dog lovers.
Classes resume April 3rd, and AP tests are coming up. Here's a video by Reagan Moellering on how students are dropping AP classes.
AP classes are no joke, and if you've ever taken one, you would know. You'd probably also understand why so many people decide to drop. Maybe something came up in life, maybe your priorities changed, or maybe you underestimated the time commitment and workload. But as hard as AP classes might be, it's also hard to drop them.
The process to drop the AP class is a little more involved because we base our staffing on those numbers, how many kids said they wanted to take those classes. There's just more to consider with the AP classes. Did you sign up to take the test? Are there room for you in the other classes if you're going from AP to a regular class?
From a student's perspective, we shouldn't be encouraging kids to drop things at the first sign that they're difficult, right? Everything worthwhile in life is going to be challenging. So we have to help students learn, the gratification of working hard and accomplishing something, and not make it too easy for them to oh, it's hard, I'm just going to quit. That's just not good for them long term.
Because of these issues, student drop rates need to stay low. A few prevention strategies can be used to keep students in their AP classes.
I think the process that we ask students to go through when they drop an AP or honors class is kind of a prevention strategy. Because when I talk to students about dropping, I want to make sure they know about all the resources that are available to them. If they're really just struggling academically, I want to make sure they know about all those things.
I do wonder sometimes if maybe students think they're more prepared for the AP class because they've had honors classes or whatnot that weren't very hard and didn't expect much of them out of it. So I think if we have what we used to call pre-AP or honors classes, it's really important for them to be rigorous enough that students have an idea of what AP is. I think it's really, really important not to try to scare them away, right? But be very honest. This is what the expectation is.
It's true. AP classes are really tough, and being upfront about that would lower drop rates. But that's not meant to drive you away from a challenge.
If you're worried or nervous about taking an AP class because you think it's going to be too hard, I would encourage you to embrace the hard. I think it's really good for you to be challenged in school.
So I think if they are proactive in taking ownership of how to own their learning, right, that will make it easier for them to succeed.
So if you're ready to step up to the plate of an AP class, you should. But being real about what is expected and properly preparing students is what will really lower AP drop rates.
The school year is coming to an end, which means that the school board election is coming up. This election is crucial as two of our former school board members have stepped down. This means that their positions are open for the new candidates. The conflict between the two parties has created a rather caustic political environment, and you're sure to see multiple signs in the coming days.
The FHN Jazz Band performed at Brewski's Bar on March 3rd. Natasha Haverly and Nora Addison had an outstanding performance. Here's a video by Melissa Guerrero on that performance. Thanks, Melissa.
Switching to another one of our extracurriculars, the lacrosse team had their jamborees on the 13th, and they put it all out there on the field. Make sure to keep an eye out for the team because it's clear that they have large ambitions this season.
If lacrosse isn't physical enough for you, then roller derby might just be the thing for you. The arch rival roller derby league had a game recently. Here's a video by Vanessa Ng on that.
The Arch Rivals are a roller derby league based in St. Louis. What sets the Arch Rivals apart is their mission statement of including transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming league members. Players better known as Cruella, Cicada Lovelace, and Emma Kidd show how they all found comfort in the diverse community despite their different lives.
I was a little bit older when I started playing. I worked a lot. I'm a mom, and so I felt like my time was really consumed with those aspects of my life, and I wanted to find something I could do for myself. That's when I found roller derby. I've been playing for 10 years, so I'm going to be 47 this year, and half the time I'm like, oh, am I really 40? I don't feel like I'm 40. I feel like I'm still in my early 30s. The sport makes me feel younger than I really am.
I am really a brand newbie and literally joined the league a few weeks ago. This is my first really positive experience with team sports growing up. I didn't have the hand-eye coordination for a lot of like hit the ball, throw the ball sports. I didn't feel like I fit with a lot of the teammates, people who would throw like little jibes about being a girl or whatnot. Oh, you're right, I'm trans. The fact that this team welcomes people like me without a second thought is incredible.
I've actually only been playing derby for a little over a year now. I was always a very athletic person before COVID, going through the pandemic and isolation. I'm a single mother, and so it was just me and my daughter. Also, I identify as queer, and so I really wanted to find an accepting place as well, where I would feel, free to be myself. I really feel welcomed and welcome to express my authentic self. So even if you don't identify as queer on any part of that spectrum, just being in a space where you are welcomed no matter what is empowering. And so just knowing that I can come here and play with teammates who welcome me no matter what, I think is great.
We do better as a team just because I think everyone actually really gets along with one another. We have a really good amount of diversity, which somehow helps everyone get together really well too.
If it's between laying at home or, getting in shape and being around people and community, and it's a great trade-off, frankly.
Thanks, Vanessa.
With football in the off-season and another 3 weeks until baseball season, sports stories are hard to come by. Lucky for you, we got stories to pass the time.
There's a whole lot more going on than just roller derby.
Really? Like what?
Well, in basketball news, the Cavaliers came back from a monumental 22-point deficit in the fourth quarter against the Celtics, with Dean Wade, their backup player, scoring more points in the fourth quarter than the entire Celtics team combined. In football news, the Denver Broncos announced that they plan on releasing Russell Wilson and using that freed up cap space to buy another star player. And then finally, in soccer news, the U.S. women's national soccer team beat Canada in San Diego, with torrential downpour making passing and dribbling near impossible. The U.S. team then went on to beat Brazil in the finals, therefore winning the U.S. a new Women's Gold Cup trophy.
Well, there's tons of pro sports news. We also have some great local sports news. Here's a video by Ben Bartells and Riley Aldenderfer on Golden Gloves.
Golden Gloves is coming up, and boxers are getting ready for it. But what exactly is Golden Gloves, and how do boxers prepare for it?
It's a community tournament that's sponsored by the USA Boxing League organization. It's national wide.
I train every single day. I do a bunch of endurance work, sparring, come to the gym every day, just eat right, diet, everything.
Sometimes it could be scary. Like people don't even know, like especially the fans, they think it's awesome, and it is. Of course it is, and we think it's awesome also, but they have no clue how much it goes into it. When I first started, I would watch guys fight, especially on TV, and I would think like, wow, like these guys don't get hurt. Are they superhuman? Are they even human? And when I got into that circle, I realized like, no, they all hurt. They just pushing it through it.
Yeah, lots of patience, lots of allowing yourself to fail over and over and over. It's easy to compare yourself to some of the more elite athletes and how that you're not where they are, But if you continue to watch them and continue to learn from the coaches, you'll get there. So because it's a novice tournament, really anyone can compete if the coach says that you're ready.
I think I'm going to compete until I'm 18, and probably if I'm good enough, maybe go pro.
It's brought my son and I closer together. It's given me a lot more coping skills, and it's created a family within the gym, I think.
Yeah, people will be surprised. Like, they don't even know who the fighters are because you talk to somebody on the street. Oh, I just met a super nice person. And you have no idea that guy was just like some professional fighter who was just a happy guy.
Thanks, Ben and Riley.
The Oscars were on the 10th, and some noteworthy moments include Cillian Murphy and Emma Stone taking home Best Actor and Best Actress. Oppenheimer was the big winner, taking home 5 Oscars, including Best Picture.
And let's not forget about Ryan Gosling's performance of I'm Just Ken.
Yeah, of course.
With this year's Oscars being over, we can start making predictions over next award season. Dune Part 2 came out on the 1st, and it's easily one of my favorite movies of all time. Let's look at a quick review I made on the movie. You didn't misread the title. It's been about an hour since I watched Dune Part 2, and it might be the best sci-fi film I've ever seen. Here's a quick spoiler-free review for any of you still on the fence of whether or not to watch this modern masterpiece. People are raving over the newest installment of Villeneuve's Dune trilogy, and it's easy for someone who hasn't seen it to assume that the affection shown by viewers is recency bias or some type of hype train. However, after sitting in a packed theater, I can safely say that Dune 2 lives up to and even exceeds the colossal praise it has received. The movie does a better job with scale than any other movie in recent memory, to the point where the term epic doesn't quite fit the true size of the film. As the viewer embarks on the messianic journey of Paul Atreides, it is nearly impossible for you to not lose yourself in the vast landscape of spice. With an ambitious directorial vision, it often becomes difficult for a movie to stay on track and keep the viewers entertained, and I'm happy to say that Dune Part 2 does not suffer from this issue. Everyone in the theater was almost immediately immersed in the beautiful world building and thrilling storyline. Every single actor and actress is at the top of their game, and with such a stunning script, the writers have constructed one of the most in-depth, multifaceted stories I've seen, not just in the 21st century, but in the history of film. It's difficult to explain what makes the story so gripping without spoiling some of the big plot points, but to break it down to its most simple terms, the film follows Paul Atreides' rise to infamy as he struggles between the balance of morals and prophecy. The last thing that needs some commendation is the visuals. Greg Fraser, the same cinematographer in charge of The Batman, Rogue One, and the first Dune, takes command of the sequel's cinematography. And apart from classics like 2001: A Space Odyssey or The Revenant, Dune 2 is some of the most alluring visuals I've had the pleasure of experiencing. The wide shots feel like art pieces you would see in the Uffizi Gallery, and the tighter dialogue shots still have such a powerful stylized approach to them that keeps your eyes glued to the screen. To summarize, Denis Villeneuve has cultivated a sagacity for phenomenal filmmaking, and his latest film is the antithesis of the vapid, prosaic, thoughtless money grabs we have seen in recent years. Dune Part 2 is not just in the running for Movie of the Year, but Movie of the Century, and is a milestone in science fiction as we know it. For global news, we've got some interesting climate updates. This February was marked as the hottest February in recorded history, making it the 9th consecutive month marked as the hottest in recorded history.
And for our final segment, Hunter Sanford, one of our newest video staffers, has made an album review on the Magical Mystery Tour. Let's take a look.
Magical Mystery Tour was released on the 27th of December, 1967 in the United States. It's the only Capitol album beyond the official Beatles discography, and it's probably one of the wider known most Capitol releases. It's also the soundtrack to a film of the same name that stars the Beatles. But this is not my favorite album. It's my second favorite album, behind the White Album. But that's enough talking. Let's get my favorite tracks and why they're all my favorite tracks and my rating. My first favorite track is I'm the Walrus. It is inspired by 2 LSD trips that Lennon had. And I like this song because of the rhythm and a complete randomness on the album. Also, from 1 minute and 35 seconds to 1 minute 44 seconds, the trumpets really add a great flair to the song. And that's really what makes it so niche. So let's hear it now in this little preview of the song. My second favorite is Magical Mystery Tour, the title track of this album. It is basically the equivalent to an acid trip according to McCartney. And I like this song because of the rhythm and the backing vocals it has great backing vocals. And from 33 seconds to 37 seconds, there are trumpets. And these trumpets, yet again, add a great flair to the song. That really makes it so good and great to listen to be honest. So let's hear that now in this little preview. And then let's go to my third track. My third favorite track is All You Need Is Love. It was written by Lennon, and it was inspired by the Summer of Love, and it's an anthem for the flower power philosophy. And I like the song because of the message it gives. Because all you need is love. We all need peace in this world. And that I like that song for giving that. And my rating, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Is my second favorite Beatles album. The one thing it could be better though is its length. I think it's too short for a Beatles album. It's been like a double LP, like the White Album. But is my rating too high? Is it too low? Let me know.
That's all we've got for you this week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Nightly Show. For more information and more videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and visit FHNtoday.com. Once again, I'm Camden.
I'm Harper, signing off.